The Battle of Bannockburn 1314, when Scotland defeated England in one of the greatest feats in medieval history. Imagine a battle where the fate of an entire nation hung in the balance, a small, poorly equipped army facing a military giant, with overwhelming odds against them. Now imagine that this army not only survived, but triumphed gloriously, forever changing the course of history. Today, we will explore one of the most incredible battles of the medieval world, the Battle of Bannockburn, fought on June 16, 1314, when Scotland defeated the mighty England and secured its independence. In the early 14th century, Scotland was at constant war with England, fighting for its freedom and national identity. After years of bloody fighting, persecution, and sacrifice, the Battle of Bannockburn became the decisive turning point. Under the leadership of Robert the Bruce, the Scots accomplished a seemingly impossible feat, defeating a much larger and better armed English army. But how was this victory possible? Who was Robert the Bruce, and why is he remembered as a national hero? And what were the consequences of this battle for Scotland, England, and the world? In this video, we delve into the depths of this extraordinary story, exploring the events leading up to the battle, the strategies used by the Scots, and the lasting impact of this historic moment. Prepare yourself for a thrilling and inspiring journey that will reveal how courage, strategy, and determination can overcome any obstacle. The historical context: the Wars of Scottish Independence. To understand the magnitude of the Battle of Bannockburn, we need to go back to the context of the Wars of Scottish Independence, which began in the late 13th century, after the death of Alexander III of Scotland in 1286. Leaving no direct heirs, the country was plunged into a succession crisis. The English King Edward I, known as the Hammer of the Scots, saw this as an opportunity to subjugate Scotland and annex it to his kingdom. The following decades were marked by brutal conflict. Figures such as William Wallace emerged as leaders of the resistance, but even their temporary victories were not enough to secure independence. It was against this backdrop that Robert the Bruce emerged as an unlikely hero. He assassinated his political rival, John Comyn, in 1306 and proclaimed himself King of Scotland. However, his position was precarious, and he spent years on the run in fighting the English. But what led up to the Battle of Bannockburn? How did Robert the Bruce manage to rally his people to face the English army? And what was the state of Scotland before the battle? We explore the events leading up to the battle, including the political tensions, Scottish resistance, and the crucial role of Stirling Castle as a strategic point. The protagonists, Robert the Bruce and Edward II. The Battle of Bannockburn was much more than a military confrontation. It was a clash between two leaders with opposing styles and destinies. Robert the Bruce. Bruce was a complex man, shaped by adversity. After proclaiming himself king, he faced years of struggle and defeat, but he never lost his determination. His skill as a strategist and his ability to inspire his men were unmatched. He was a leader who fought side by side with his soldiers, earning their loyalty and trust. Edward II. On the other hand, Edward II was a weak and unpopular monarch. Unlike his father, Edward I, who was known for his military strength and charismatic leadership, Edward II was often criticized for his lack of political and military skill. His army was huge and well equipped, but his leadership was questionable, and he faced internal divisions among his nobles. But how did these two men confront each other at Bannockburn? What were their strategies and decisions during the battle? And how did their personalities influence the outcome of the conflict? In this section, we will explore the profiles of Bruce and Edward II, highlighting their motivations, strengths, and weaknesses. The Battle of Bannockburn: strategy and combat. The Battle of Bannockburn took place near the city of Stirling, on a site carefully chosen by Robert the Bruce. Stirling Castle was vital to their control of the region, and the Scots knew its defense would be crucial. Day 1. Preparations and initial confrontation. On the first day, Bruce positioned his forces in marshy terrain that made it difficult for the heavy English cavalry to move. He also used formations of pikemen, soldiers armed with long spears, to form impenetrable barriers. As the English advanced, they were met with coordinated attacks and innovative tactics. Day 2. The decisive victory. On the second day, the English army attempted a new offensive but was again repulsed. The Scots' morale was high, while the English began to panic. At a crucial moment, Bruce personally engaged an English knight, felling him with a well-aimed blow. This heroic act further boosted the morale of his troops, while the English began to retreat in disarray. But what specific tactics did the Scots use? How did the terrain and conditions contribute to their victory? And what were the decisive moments that ensured the Scottish triumph? We explore the details of the battle, from the build-up to the final fighting, highlighting the elements that made it one of the greatest military victories in medieval history. The aftermath of the battle. The victory at Bannockburn had profound repercussions for Scotland, England, and the rest of Europe. For Scotland, the battle cemented Robert the Bruce's position as the rightful King of Scotland and strengthened the cause of independence. Although it would be another 14 years before England formally recognized Scottish independence through the Treaty of Edinburgh-Northampton in 1328, the victory at Bannockburn was the turning point for England. The defeat was devastating for Edward, II, who lost not only his prestige but also the trust of his nobles. He was eventually deposed by his own wife, Isabella of France, and her political allies, and was brutally assassinated in 1327. For the medieval world, the battle inspired other nations to adopt similar tactics, such as the use of pikemen against heavy cavalry. It also proved that a smaller, less equipped army could overcome a superior enemy with strategy and determination. But what were the cultural and symbolic impacts of the battle? How has it been remembered over the centuries? And what is its legacy? Today, in this section, we will look at the immediate and long-term consequences of the battle, highlighting its impact on European politics, culture, and history. Reflections on courage and resilience. The Battle of Bannockburn is a powerful example of how courage, strategy, and unity can overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. But what can we learn from this story today? Inspirational leadership. Robert the Bruce demonstrated that a true leader must be willing to fight alongside his people and make sacrifices for the greater good. His determination and resilience are valuable lessons for any age. The importance of national identity. The battle also reminds us of the importance of preserving cultural and national identity. For the Scots, Bannockburn was not just a military victory. It was an affirmation of their existence as an independent nation. Cultural legacy to this day. The battle is celebrated in Scotland as a symbol of pride and resilience. It has inspired songs, poems, and legends that perpetuate the memory of Bruce and his men. But how can this story be applied to modern challenges? And how can we use the example of Bannockburn to inspire positive change in our own lives? In this section, we will reflect on the broader significance of the battle, exploring its universal lessons and lasting impact. The Battle of Bannockburn was much more than a military victory. It was a symbol of courage, determination, and resilience. She showed that even in the face of the greatest adversity, it is possible to achieve the impossible. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about historical events that shape the world, click the like button and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to watch the next video, where we will explore another incredible milestone in world history. Until then, keep thinking, questioning, and learning. After all, history is not just about the past, it is about the future that we can build together. Until next time.